It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning
from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, the Fiji Teachers Union says they will work with the Fijian Elections Office. As we mark World Leprosy Day, there are 9 people currently living with leprosy in Fiji. And the European Union is working towards more projects. Good evening, I'm Akusita Tale and you're watching FBC News. Leading our bulletin tonight, a Class 4 student has been taken into the care of social welfare after allegedly being assaulted by her father yesterday. Police spokesperson Anna Naisoro has confirmed to FBC News that the incident occurred outside the victim's home in Andera, where the father is alleged to have beaten the child severely. It's understood that neighbors intervened to stop the assault, with police initially unable to attend to the incident because of no transport. Investigations are continuing. The Fiji Teachers Union says they will work with the Fijian Elections Office because it is the law. FTU General Secretary Agni Deo Singh says they are more than capable of running their own union elections, as they have done for many years. Maggie Boyle reports.
This year, under Section 154 of the Electoral Decree, the Fijian Elections Office will conduct all trade union elections. One of the bigger unions in the country, the Fiji Teachers Union, says they will abide by the new law.
We feel that this is actually interference into an independent democratic organization. We know that there is a law and we have to abide by it. We do not have any fear of the elections office supervising our elections. We have already begun discussions with them.
Singh says the initial preparations for elections are already underway.
Our branch elections fall in the month of March. We have 16 branches and we have already submitted our provisional branch membership list to the elections office with the rest of the requirements. We have our national elections on the 18th of April, I think, yes, that's the date we will have it on, and we will be working with them, and they have assured us that we will work together and see it through.
Election Supervisor Mohammed Saneem says they will work with the trade unions to ensure that the electoral process is transparent and more accessible for its members. The first trade union election to be conducted by the Elections Office will be on the 14th of February in Sinatoka. This will be for the Coral Coast Tourism and Catering Workers Union. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Today, as we mark World Leprosy Day, there are currently 9 people living with leprosy in Fiji. Awareness and community outreach has been attributed to these people now receiving treatment. Alan Stalls has the story.
To date, there are 9 cases of people who are on active treatment for leprosy. Awareness campaigns and community outreach conducted by the staff from the Tumi Hospital has helped people understand the disease.
It's one of the message is that leprosy is just like any other disease, and they're just part of us. And just like you can see today, we're just sitting here, you know, with patients, us enjoying the meals with all the staffs and the families. Yeah, it's just like any other disease, so we treat leprosy as just like any other diseases.
Nasome says over the last year, more patients have been identified, and this is mainly through the skincare clinic that the hospital runs.
The record shows that a lot of our new cases, the mode of detection was through the skin clinic. So we have a skin clinic here whereby patients come in for check, and then they are diagnosed and confirmed with leprosy.
Well, Leprosy Day is celebrated annually here in Fiji, but today's celebrations was made even more special with the presence of the Australian High Commissioner, Margaret Toomey. For the High Commissioner, it was a chance to carry on the legacy of her grandfather.
My grandfather, some people think he was a doctor, but he wasn't. He was a humble man from a poor education from New Zealand, and his role on Makangai was not with medicine, it was to bring a little bit of dignity and happiness back to the lives of the patients who were treated so harshly by society.
Her message today was simple: respect the sick and help them where you can.
All people with illness have to be treated with respect and dignity. And you think today of how afraid we are of people with Ebola and some of the 21st century scourges. Leprosy can now be contained, and there's no reason to be frightened of people with leprosy anymore. We can help them medically. But I think there's a bigger theme about treating people who are sick with illnesses we don't understand.
Toomey says that Fiji is doing relatively well as far as its services to the public goes. The task now, though, is to continue to ensure that new cases are controlled and patients are getting the help they need. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
The European Union is working towards implementing more projects in Fiji that will align itself to its goals for this year. With 2015 earmarked as the EU's year for development, focus will be on rural development for the hub of the region. This year, the European Union is focusing on strengthening development works in the Pacific. It has laid out programs for Fiji, specifically looking at ways to improve development in the rural areas.
Sugar areas, reforestation, the feeder roads, the whole sugar rural industry will have a lot of attention. We are not finalizing discussion, we haven't completely finalized discussion with the government yet, but we are getting there.
The EU says plans for rural development have yet to be finalized with the government. However, a decision is expected by the second quarter of the year.
The government is in the lead for defining the focal sectors. There's this rural development focus, and there's the other area where it's look at good governance, where our current discussion seems like we are going to intervene and assist in the justice sector.
The Deputy Ambassador says EU will also continue to address climate change in the country.
There is a huge need to create societies and to assist people so that they become resilient and that they can sustain the climate changes that will come in the years and the decades to come. So yes, we are doing things in that area.
The EU will create awareness within the European countries and globally on the assistance it has delivered. Part of this is taking success stories from countries such as Fiji back to the EU taxpayers who provides assistance to funds. Coming up after the break, new courses at the University of the South Pacific.
Nama kiki rau mena tolu kena betu. Ena via kabi, moliti kena porombuka. Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 ena seri.
Leading our news this segment, students can expect new courses at the University of the South Pacific campuses this year. Some of the courses include studies in geographical sciences for degree level and technical, vocational education and training. Sakius Anaivua reports.
USP Faculties will be offering new programs as Semester 1 kicks off next month. These courses will provide a pathway for foundation students to those at the undergraduate level.
Those programs are designed to do, as the name implies, Pacific Technical and Further Education. It's not just delivering the TVET qualifications, not just delivering qualifications that are good for professional development and workplace skills, but also providing that further education. So what we're trying to do in combination with the College of Foundation Studies is to really provide flexible pathways into our academic programs.
One of the university's aim is to provide quality education and to produce quality students. Students who do not qualify for the degree level because of low marks can apply for the TVET courses.
That emphasis on quality can lead to a problem, and we get blamed for elitism. You know, we're not allowing everybody to get into our programs because the entry requirements are so high. So what we're doing with our foundation College of Foundation Studies and the Pacific TAFE is that we're really offering flexible pathways. So if you don't make the entry requirements for our programs, there's always a flexible program there available for you.
The courses will be available in flexible modes. This will enable working students and those living in remote areas to study online. Semester 1 begins on the 16th of next month and ends on the 19th of June. Sekiu Sanebua, FBC News.
The Chinese embassy in Fiji today launched a photography exhibition on their cultural heritage sites. The exhibition, titled Beautiful China, showcases the country's World Heritage Sites and as well as a number of intangible cultural sites focused on the arts. Today's launch welcomed Chinese nationals who now call Fiji home to be able to get a glimpse of mainland China that they may not have seen before.
Last November, during our president's visit, we had this exhibition at the Sofitel Hotel in Nadi City, in Nadi town, and this is actually the second time that we put up this picture exhibition. The contents of this exhibition is made up 3 parts. One is about China's cultural heritage. The second is about China's intangible heritage, and the third part is about Olympic China, about 2008 Olympics Games in China.
The exhibition is free to the public and will be open at the China Club in Suva for a month. From a village boy to a street kid to a business owner, they hang off the capital's tallest buildings, cleaning and repairing. It's a gravity-defying occupation, and the man at the center of it all shares his story with us. In our successful Fijian segment tonight, Watisoni Rekanroka speaks to Amasai Korovata, the owner of Specialist Access Services Limited, who dangle their expertise across the city skyline of Suva.
I'm running my own business now, and the name of my company is Specialist Access Services Limited.
Amasai Korovata is 49 years old and hails from the village of Mbudalebu in the district of Nakortumbu in the province of Ra. He's married to Marioni Viskula and they have 4 children, 3 daughters and a son. Amasai left school while still at primary level. He stayed on the streets for a while before going to the village and then back to Suva to further his studies. He left his brother's home in Suva and stayed in the Salvation Army hostel while attending Ratuskuna Memorial School.
And where Mr. Alan J came along and to pick some boys to clean up his house in Namandi, and he met me and asked why I'm there and going to school, and I say, oh, I couldn't, my folks wouldn't be able to pay my school fees, so I'm trying out the way, whichever way I think would help me to do it, and it did really succeed.
And this is when things began to change for Amasai. Alan J became his stepfather. After a few years, Alan wanted Amasai to go to Australia, but he couldn't because of his criminal background, so he stayed in Fiji and was promised help with establishing a company. Amasai was trained when he was still in high school when his stepdad was working at the copper mine in Namosi. He was hanging from the bridge collecting water samples from bottles under the Nausori Bridge and Waiman water pump to verify to government the amount of dirt in floodwaters. In 1993, Amasai went to Melbourne, 3 months training, and he went back in 1996 for further training after the company was established. Alan then negotiated with IRATA, International Rope Access Trade Association in Australia, to help Amasai set up his very own Fiji shop, and the business was established in 1994 in Suva.
The company registered in Fiji in '94, but we have partnership with Australia. But the initial discussion was to get me be able to set up until I'll be able to access funds through the government to help me running. They've been helping me along until I have to do my own insurance here, and OHS certified here, and business license here. Now I'm running exactly that. I'm still hoping that I might get some help from the government, because I've brought in this idea for free, and I've trained boys now, and they are working, looking after their family.
To date, Amasai has trained over 30 boys, 10 of which are up to supervisory level, and 20 to 25 operatives are ready to operate and do the work. The Specialist Access Service Limited is specialized in any works such as the maintenance of any tall man-made structure, such as buildings, bridges, wharves, and masts.
We've been working at the moment at the FMF, cleaning off their silos, checking nuts and bolts, and make sure that they are right, and treating the rust on those silos. And we're trying to fix the buildings, and there are other works that would need specialist access at FMF, and we are working slowly towards that and get all this work done.
Amasai says they charge companies $2 per cubic meter and multiply that by the size of the building. Given that he's a specialist, the rates are his to decide.
I get about $15,000.
So from that $14,000 and $15,000, how many do you obtain annually in 1 year?
The biggest I've gone up to is 70,000 annually.
They have a no-drop policy.
We use 2 ropes. There is a working rope which you'll be hanging from, and there's going to be another standby rope which your full body harness would be attached to hold you if you fell from the working rope. And I believe through rope access there hasn't been any accident from that.
Amasai says his staff were trained to rescue themselves when a problem arises. The Specialist Access Services Limited is qualified to maintain any tall building as high as 100-story tall. From humble beginnings to lofty heights, Amasai is hopeful for the future and expansion plans for the company. Next on the to-do list is to lobby government for substantive maintenance contracts. Also, negotiations are on to be on OHS committee to include their company in the erecting of tall buildings in the future to help the designers to access easy maintenance in the future. For Amasai, the sky is literally his limit. Watisuni Rekanroka, FBC News.
Ahead in sports, Masilevu ruled out of Sevens return. And local table tennis players gained valuable experience at Fiji Open.
बॉलीवुड हीरो पंती रे. Get this.
हीरो सपना दिखेला बंद करो.
क्या करूं यार, सबको आती नहीं, मेरी जाती नहीं.
मिर्ची मस्त मॉर्निंग में हूँ अश्निल सिंह.
हाय मैं हूँ काजल.
शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
6 AM to 9 AM.
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.
Leading sports tonight, Fijian flyer Benito Masilevu has been ruled out of the Vodafone Fiji 7 side for the upcoming Wellington and Las Vegas tournaments. The French-based winger has been sidelined for 1 month by shoulder injury, but remains in the scope for selection for the remaining legs of the World 7 Series. Chalendo Dakadaka reports.
Tough luck for France-based winger Benito Masilevu, as he will miss the next 2 legs of the World 7 Series due to a shoulder injury. The Brive speedster suffered the injury against Montpellier in the top 14 competition.
He went to see a specialist in Toulouse and then also the Brive club doctor, and he's been ruled out of rugby for a month, which means that he can't come and play for us. He wouldn't be insured and wouldn't be fit to play.
Despite this setback, Masilevu is still on hand to be selected in the remaining legs of the series.
Oh, you got to trust the people that have made those medical decisions. You know, I'm not a doctor or a consultant, so if there's a letter that says from a medical professional that he can't play, then you know, there's no leeway for us. You know, he's out, which is a shame for Benito, because I know he's been training hard to get himself fit enough to come back.
The Vodafone Fiji 7 squad will return to camp on Tuesday, and an 18-member squad will be named at the end of the week. Talendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The Pacific Energy Fiji Open has been hailed as one of the best in the recent times for the local table tennis community. The 3-day event comes to a close this evening and has attracted some of the best players in the region to give the local players a taste of international competition. Chalendo Dakadaka has more.
The Fiji Table Tennis Association is commending the local players that have come out to give the best players in the region a run for their money. Officials are hoping for more exposure of the players to such competition.
Definitely, we need our players to train a lot more and to take part in more regular international competitions so that they can get to play against these players more regularly. Our problem in Fiji is that we don't get to play these players regularly. We play amongst ourselves, so as of that, our level is just as good as our players, next player in Fiji.
The Fiji Open attracted top players like Australia's number 2 seed David Powell, as well as Pacific champion Joshua Shing, which has brought great strides to the confidence of local players.
Extremely proud of this 2015 Pacific Energy Fiji Open. It set a few records which is going to be very hard to match in the future. We've got about 14 countries taking part, and we've also got some of the best players in the region, including Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific. We've got the number 1 in the Pacific, in the men and women taking part in this event.
The finals of the Fiji Open are still underway at the Fiji Table Tennis Center in Lodala Bay. Chalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
Nandi has taken an early lead in Galaxy Premier League football competition, which kicked off yesterday in Nausori. The Jet Setters started their campaign on a high note with a 6-1 hiding of newcomers Tailevu Naitasiri. Rewa and Lambasa faced off in the second match yesterday, with the fixture ending in a 1-1 draw. Christopher Waisalasala scored only 30 seconds into the match for the Northerners, but that goal was cancelled out, with Rewa finding the equalizer through recalled striker Josefo Verivo.
Ratu Dakambau Park as Josefo Verivo gets his first header. Back inside in Tayoni Keravanu, a lovely through pass, he finds Christopher Waisalasala, and Waisalasala has opened the account as Benedito, a straight through pass, and Lambasa with Christopher Waisalasala. Way to Ruba Shields, and Peter Balatonga with a miscue, and Verivo comes in, and Josefo Verivo says hello and welcome to 2015. Josefo Verivo in the 23rd minute of play has equalized for the Rewa side.
Meanwhile, Ba has claimed the Pile's Government's champion versus champion title after defeating Suva 2-1 in the second leg at Govin Park in Ba today. Fine weather conditions prevailed over the country today. An active trough of low pressure remains slow-moving over Tuvalu, Tokelau, Northern Cooks and extends southeastwards over French Polynesia. Temperatures again averaged in the 30s, with Lautoka recording a high of 32, Savu Savu and Suva sitting on a joint 31 degrees. Tomorrow expect fine weather across the islands with brief afternoon showers predicted for Suva and Savu-Savu only. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, possible afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. Recapping our main stories, the Fiji Teachers Union says they will work with the Fijian Elections Office. As we mark World Leprosy Day, there are 9 people currently living with leprosy in Fiji, and the European Union is working towards more projects. Now to our poll question for this week. Do you support the reintroduction of external exams? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's FBC News for tonight. Jackie is back with you tomorrow. Until next weekend, have a productive week. Nimo Demanda.